Welcome to Tami's Soul Speak, featuring animal intuitive and medium Tami Hendricks, offering insight, spirituality, transformation, and clarity to every soul. Now, here's Tami.
Hello, everybody. So good to see you here. As you join in the room, I'm already seeing some friendly faces. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new, I'm so excited to meet you. I always love to meet the people who reach out and however you found me, however you found Soul Speak, that's definitely a soul nudge. So I'm going to be talking today about one of my favorite topics ever. I've witnessed that piece in my life so much, and I'm excited to help share that with you so that you can also witness it in your own, and you can start to understand the past as you integrate your present. And the animals are brilliant at that. So it's good to see you, Diane. I'm excited you're here too. And Cindy, oh, glad you're here. Hello, Dee, from smoky upstate New York. You know, Dee, we have, and if any of you are in Canada, certainly, and across the U.S., we're feeling all the fire and the wind that blows it this way. So we're definitely hazy. I noticed it really strongly yesterday and again today. So goodness, it's hard on those that are sensitive, and animals too, actually. So we just have to be conscious of, what's going on in our world. And I think it also shows us how connected we all are, right? It's such a small world after all. I will try not to break out into that Disney song, sorry. Hi, Yogi and Kat. Good to see you. And Diane, North Carolina. Is it smoky where you are too, and hazy? And then Quebec. Oh, it's good to see you. And Jen from Nova Scotia, Canada. I love it. I love it. Happy Wednesday to you too, Kat and Lori and Jennifer. Jennifer has had a dear little friend named Franny, and Franny's going to make an appearance later on. She insisted. So I can't wait to share that. And hi, Britt. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here too. And Claire, blessed to be here another week. I like that, Claire. Yes, and that's such a broad statement too. Aren't we blessed to be here another day, even another week? So thank you for that. Starts the energy off really beautifully. And Joy, good to see you from Wilmington. And Karen and Jenny and Mary Ann. I love it. You're all coming back, and I'm meeting new people. And Linda. Yes, Jackson's mom. Of course I remember. And Mandy says that it's super hazy here in the Pittsburgh area. We have air quality alerts out for today too. Yeah, it's something, isn't it? It's amazing how far reaching that is. And hi, Greg and Molly. Good to meet you and see you. And Diane, very smoky here in the nation's capital, Ottawa, Canada. Oh my goodness. And Kat says, Josie and Miley, my grandpuppies, want to say hi as well. And Leslie, it's really good to see you. I think you came ahead of the show too, because it's interesting, I'll have animals drop in ahead of time. Perhaps you've never even come here, and you've sent a question. The animals come, it's so fascinating, way ahead and then right before, and I can feel your energy coming, and I'm get really excited. It's like we're all gathering together. Oh, I love that. Leslie says she's been reading over our first reading for research for my book. Yay. I love that you're writing a book. I think creativity is up for a lot of people right now. And Jocelyn, it's good to see you. Oh, yes, Roseanne, I got it. I know the switch. So thank you for correcting me on that one. So super excited to talk about this piece, because I love to share what the animals have shared with me. And so to start off with, what are some of the roles that animals play in our lives? I mean, the easier ones would be like friend, our confidants, our soulmates. What else would you say as they protectors, roles. Would you say animals are also in caregiving roles as well? What roles have you noticed in your own life? And if you put them up in the comments, I'd love to see, because those are only a few that I mentioned. Kat, yes, teachers. Yes, teachers. Don't we all need teachers? I figure with me, it takes a village. Pretty sure it does. But did you also know, as they come in as teachers and guides and joy givers and comforters? See, you all can help me here, because this is huge. It's such a broad spectrum that they come in to help us with. So did you also know that they play an important role in our personal growth and our spiritual lives and in our soul's development? It's all intertwined, all connected, and we're all helping each other. So a common perception is that animals are here for us, and they are as we are for them, but they're also participate in their own growth as well. I always say, just like us, they encounter life events that profoundly change them, that change them from the inside out, which is really about life anyway. Change always occurs first on the inner level, and then it manifests on the outer. So it's a big topic, and it's really important. And Claire says, heart openers. I like that. And Pamela says, helping to encourage us to do things. Yes. And Sharon says, healers. I totally agree. And so I'm wondering, as you have written these things in the comments, have you experienced that? Because I'm guessing that you have felt that with your animals, your friends, in your own life. So each relationship helps us understand ourselves in a different way, and others. And the good thing and the fun thing is, it's a custom plan for each of us. So if you look at your own life, how your animals have come in. For me, for instance, I've always noticed, and the animals have shown me over the years and taught me, animals come in on cue. You'll hear me say that over and over, and they leave on cue. Though it's much more difficult to see the latter, I think. Much easier to see the correlation and connection with how they came, how we met, how it all began. I think that last piece, where they leave our lives, it can be kind of confusing, especially if they leave suddenly, or if our circumstances change. But it's always connected, no matter what the direction of their life with us. It always connects to our soul growth, 100%. Animals and their involvement in our lives help us open our minds and our hearts to the next level of our life in each day of our lives. So take a moment to think of all the animals you've known. You can do from childhood. Which ones impacted you the most? We're going to be looking at that more in depth and a little later. Which ones have gotten your attention? What are the ones you'd never forget? Hi, Heather. Working in the garden with Ollie and Georgie, my healing guides, they make everything beautiful for me. And I love that you're acknowledging that, Heather, because it's really important for us to be super aware of that, and thank them. Thank you so much for showing me what I needed to see. How did you know I needed that hug right now? It's that piece is that interchange between us and them is so important. And Deanna says, do they leave when their job contract with us is complete? I love the question. And the short answer would be yes. But I would also say the job is never complete. It's a continuum. It's not a stop. It's not a start and a stop. We'll talk about that in a little bit regarding soul nudges, because I think that plays into things. So what are soul nudges anyway? So when you hear the word soul, hang on. Let's see. Bronnie says, heart opener. I never knew I could love that much. Oh yeah, they're the like heart expanders, and we're undefended around animals, babies, animals, they go straight to our heart, and it's easier for us to access that. So I agree. So when you hear the word soul in association with other words, let's say soul moves, soul power, even one of my favorites, soul quakes, we tend, I think, to equate it to big events, right? That cause us to redirect our path, that affects us in some huge way. I call them wake-up calls. We often wouldn't say, oh, I am so ready for that soul quake, bring it on. So we often don't have, well, many times that's not conscious part of us, because we're not going to necessarily go toward that. But the soul moves are so important to our growth. You almost can't not do them, if that makes sense. So events that make us pay attention, those are easy to spot, right? Easy to spot. The animal that leaves in a very tragic, sudden way, definitely initiates soul growth right there. You are in a soul move so strong that you just are embraced by it, and you have to like roll with it. And Kat says it can be soul shattering. Yes. Those phrases, and I love to use them because they have power in them. The truth is we're getting soul nudges all the time, embedded in our daily lives. Look at from the choices you're making to the feelings we're feeling. And I think a lot of us look for those big events if we're telling somebody about our life, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. But in between those spaces, there have been a lot of, I'd say, window openings. They might come as bumps in the road, or they might come as powerful storms that we encounter. But they always occur on our life's path, in the moment, with whatever we're doing. And so if we train ourselves to be aware of that, it helps us understand what's going on in our lives that maybe could help us. And the animals are always so much part of that step-by-step movement. So Renee, if you would put up a graphic. So take a look at this. I would say this is a soul nudge, right? Where we have our hearts just kind of like start longing. And a lot of your questions, is it time for me to get a new animal? Will my animal approve? How will I know? How will I know? So when we start feeling that we're drawn to something, pay attention to that. Pay attention. So my heart needs a friend. So this is a person looking at it. My heart needs a friend. So question for you, is that a soul whisper? Or is that a soul roar? And then how many of you notice either in your lives? Renee, if you'd put up the next one. How about that? When we have big events that we can't ignore, we can't not see. That's a big soul roar. It's like God whispers and God roars. There you go, right there. We can't not pay attention, right? So from deciding to take, say, a new exercise class to signing up to learn something new, the animals participate in our soul movements too. Even if your decision doesn't seem directly related to them, they are always part of our soul path. And I want to read something from my dearest friend and mentor, Sharon Callahan. And she had a near-death experience. And the animals came to her and shared things with her. This is a particular thing that they shared that I wanted to share with you. And this was a large deer that was talking to her. All beings, whether human or animal, take a body on the earth plane. create a blueprint before incarnation, drawn with help from one's divine source, guardian angels, and guides. The plan is for the perfect unfolding of the highest good for the individual. With human beings, much of the blueprint is forgotten after childhood. By adulthood, a mere ghost image remains, just enough to cause a soul a slight restlessness when it's out of alignment with the original blueprint. Animals are in charge of the blueprints both here and on Earth. Each animal species is consecrated for its purpose, and each individual animal is anointed as well. Some beings, such as the great whales and elephants, are record keepers. They record within their being the entire history of Earth and each creature upon her. Now, in relationship to human beings, a soul that has taken the form of an animal companion has recall not only of its own blueprint, but the divine blueprint of its human companion. Aware of the entire karmic pattern, the animal holds the vibration of the human in its exalted state and does everything in his power to direct the human toward harmony with the original blueprint. Not a small task, you see. Every animal on Earth is doing this job. So I think it's important for us to really touch base with that piece that we are more connected than we realize to our animal companions who live life with us. So, question for you: can dreams be soul nudges? Let's think of the different ones. We've already talked about events. They can be something that nudges our soul forward, right? Something that we're drawn toward. Behavior. I know in my experience with a lot of my animals, that definitely has caused me to reach within myself to find resources I didn't have at the time or didn't think I had. So things that catch our attention, for sure. Can hindsight be a soul nudge? Think about this a minute. When your best friend passes, all that stage is over. So the movie has stopped, so to speak. And all you have now is a looking back, right? So you've got hindsight in areas. What would be helpful in that hindsight that you would consider a soul nudge? That's what I mean by it's a continuum. You know, you have an event, it happens, but the reverberations from that continue on. How we look at ourselves. Did we do a good job? Did we, end their life too soon? Why did they leave? That is all opened up. It's like that book gets opened up after a passing. And we do this for humans too. So, the animals in any coming or going or anything, they help us tap into our own emotions, which help us grow on a personal level. And so we can't help but feel it with animals. So it's like right in the system. And your soul is always on the move when you experience that. Whether you realize it or not, it's good to take a look. Well, oh gosh, I'm in a lot of transition and my animal came in at this particular time in my life. Wonder if that's connected. It always is. I had a friend this week tell me that the universe was throwing her curveballs. And I was like, I'm pretty sure your soul is on the move. To which she asked, well, how am I supposed to know that? To which I said, how uncomfortable are you? How uncomfortable with what's happening are you? And we'll talk about that later as far as really looking within ourselves to see, I see I'm at the edge of my growth here. Like I'm pushing a little. I'm not in my comfort zone. Jennifer says hindsight helps us learn and improve. Renee, if you'd put up the Maya Angelou slide, I just love this quote. Love it, love it, love it. So I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. Now think about animals with that. The same is true for us, right? And our beloved friends, whom we are totally undefended against. They get to see the best and the worst of us. We can easily detail how we felt with them, the life we shared with them, who we were with them. Look at your present day life. If you're going to ask a question, well, how do I know my soul's on the move, Tami, today? How do I know what soul nudges? And again, I would say to you, look at what's going on. What are you learning today? What's the theme? What are you thinking in terms of new thoughts or old thoughts? And where's your pet, your best friend in this? Like, do they hang out with you? Do you take deliberate walks with them? What's going on? What is your soul being guided to learn today? And so, Renee, if you would put up, I've got some slides I want to share. And hopefully thank you. I would say Freya. And I wanted to share Freya with you. Her mom wrote into me that she lost her on May 11th, just 12 days before her 9th birthday. She was the strongest, smartest, toughest, funniest, and most loving dog I've ever known. She had a lot of issues physically, and I fought a 2-year battle with cancer. Every time I was told she didn't have much longer, she would tell me she wasn't ready to go. I was very in tune to her and her emotions. I promised her when she was diagnosed with cancer, if she fights, I will fight, but I would not let her suffer. And when she fell ill on May 10th and stopped eating, she was hospitalized. And when I took her home that night, she looked at me, and I knew her little body was done fighting. We let her go the next day. I miss her so badly and think about her and constantly wonder if she's okay. Your divine timing show helped me tremendously and gave me great peace. But I still wish there were things I could ask her. Was she really ready to go? Did I make the right decision? Did she send me the feathers that I found? And was she the cloud that I saw on the hill when I sang my song to her? Was she happy with the life I gave her? And I plan on getting a puppy next year, and I'm wondering if she can help the breeder choose the right pup. So this is huge, and this is something I think all of us can relate to, right? Very, very moving. And what I would say as far as a soul nudge, where Freya is helping you, she's wanting to confirm this deep connection with you and this ability to communicate. And she's drawing my attention to say, perfect timing, Mom, perfect timing. That the time you had with her before her passing was actually a very strong learning ground for you. So the soul nudge you are currently being invited into would be to let go of doubt. She says, you doubt too much. Let go of doubt and replace it with trust. And she also refers to the soul nudge of be watching for the signs. Your head will question. She says, your heart will know. And as far as getting another puppy, your soul is going to be nudged toward one, and she will be helping guide. And this is one of the most special things that we can do with our pets who have passed is ask for their help. I do. Please help me with this situation. Please help the one find their way to me. So you see how in her situation with Freya, her soul is actually communicating very clearly. Along with Freya, very close in the communication line with her. If you have the nudge to be on the show, if you're drawn to the animals, if you have the nudge to send in a photo question, totally pay attention to that. It's the animals that are working in tandem to keep you headed towards your blueprint. And so that's one piece in a daily life, what a soul nudge looks like. So the next one would be, this is little Franny. Franny is a little powerhouse. Franny has passed, and it was very, very sudden passing. very traumatic for her mom. And she has been hard at work ever since. And just in doing these slides for the show so I could get them ready for you, she showed up in a new, PowerPoint 13 times, popped up out of nowhere. And I'd already had the thought to share with you what she's inspired from a soul nudge to her mom. So her life and her death created a true heart longing with her mom, Jennifer, one so powerful to connect and work with animals more that it took over everything she was thinking about. And she was wanting to help, wanting to work with animals. Her soul is nudging her towards that. It really kicked into high gear with Franny's passing and the subsequent, like I said, the unfoldment after her passing, the hindsight, the unfoldment of what's coming forward. So that she's enrolled in a program about dog training, and her life path has completely shifted through this experience. Definitely a soul nudge. And that was an example of a bigger one that causes changes to occur in our life. So for me, what is my soul nudging me to do? I'm learning that in every case for this show, the animals are channeling through me, so that this is all new information. It's never before been shared. I'm sharing it with you for the first time. It's an evolving process. It's an opening. The animals are coming forward more and more and more. And that's what my soul is nudging to do, is continue to share, continue to bring you in. And Jennifer says, thank you so much, Tami. My beautiful Franny. Franny's definitely front and center here recently, wanting to communicate with all of us. And I start paying attention to when they jump in front of things and they're like, I'm like, okay. So as I go forward, I'd like to share one more with you as I get you kind of thinking about your own. So this is Maybelle, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So her mom's Gigi, and she said, I'm so happy to have a Wednesday off to ask you this question. She was the best dog anybody could ask for. After a few months of noticing she was not herself and multiple visits to the vet, she was diagnosed with lymphoma. We tried to extend her life with cancer treatments, but those made her worse. She continued to deteriorate, even though she tried so hard to fight. We finally made that heartbreaking decision to put her down so she wouldn't continue to suffer. She was only 6 years old. And since then, I felt like I could have, should have done more to fight for her life. I can't forgive myself for putting her down. My question is she doing okay? And does she forgive me for not doing more for her? So this is a real life situation. This is what's up in the moment for Gigi to take a look at. This is what she's left with now. This terrible reflection of guilt and regret, and I could have done more. All the things that we torture ourselves with because we don't have it's like we're not current with what things really are. So her soul nudge is, what would you think? There's a key word in there that Maybelle is pointing to. And it's mentioned twice. It is, yes, Jennifer says, forgive yourself. Huge. Huge for all of us, right? I know we all can feel what that feels like. And the animals go to great lengths after they pass to help us move through that part of our lives that we're stuck in. And so, Gigi, what I'm feeling with the soul nudge that's up for you right now, because energy's current, and work with it when, while it's here. and you're going to understand your life so much better. So it's like she wants to know where you haven't forgiven yourself in other areas. She said this forgiveness piece is not new. And so you have the wonderful window of an opportunity through her passing, through your journey with her, to really look within to see what else is coming up, because the emotions we feel when an animal passes, it's not just about that. It's about all the other things that we haven't processed, we thought we were through. You know, when my sister passed, and if you had asked me, Tami, are you fine with your parents and how they, I was like, oh, I'm good. That was a long time ago. Oh, no, 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 no. Little did I know what would come up to be looked at, to be worked with, to be processed. So it's that forgiveness piece of where do we not forgive ourselves, which allows us to also forgive others. There's that piece. So your soul nudge is really to look within and use her life and her passing with you to be one of the greatest teachers in your life. And I really appreciate you sharing and allowing me to share her with everybody. So, what is your soul nudging you to do? I'm curious, genuinely curious. Let's look at the animals in our lives to see that. And before I go into that, I'm curious what you're saying that you think your soul's nudging you to do. I'd like to see you put in the comments. What's up for you? How is your animal part of that? I'm seeing some wonderful comments from you. And Tracy says, that's exactly what happened to me too. I had the same thing after my dog passed. It's huge, isn't it? We get a window, and it's a window of opportunity, although we don't usually look at it like that. I always tell people, it's the richest ground you can be in for true spiritual and deep, deep personal work. And Deanna says, thank you for bringing that forward. Forgiveness is a huge opening to move into for me. You know what? I'm going to bet, Deanna, that we're all working on that, or else it wouldn't have come up. What do you think? I totally would think that. I trust when you all bring titles and ideas. And Gigi says, thank you. My soul wants me to get another dog. I love that you've touched into that. And I would totally trust that she will absolutely help you. The animals bring them right to your door. I have a dog named Cookie right now, and she's a black lab. She literally found her way to me and was running. It's just a bizarre, I was leaving the house and she was running up. And so long story short, I told her she could come. I said, you look like you need help. And she came and she touched me, and then she immediately laid down and went to sleep. And that was probably 4 or 5 years ago. And in connecting with my animals, my Molly came to me and she said, I sent her. There needs to be a lab in that area. That's the energy of lab energy needs to be there. And I sent her straight to you. And when I connected with her, she said that I always called Molly Mother Molly because she was such a mother, and she was so incredibly brilliant in teaching, me included, by the way. So she said, Mama Dog sent me, and I knew. So absolutely, Gigi, ask for her help. You will receive it. You will receive it. And Estefania, it's so good to see you. I've dreamed of my dog and grandfather in a big green field after her passing. Oh, I get all over body chills on that one. That was definitely a visitation. Definitely a visitation. And I'm wondering, just from reading that, did you wake up having felt like you had just seen them? And how was it really colorful? what was the feeling of the dream? Did you feel really good in the dream? Really excited to see them? Always take a look at your dreams. They're huge communication tools from spirit. Easy for spirit to come in that way because, our conscious minds aren't guards at the gate while we're sleeping. And Diane says, yes, forgive myself. My palm knows I did the best for him. Yes. And you know what? I'm with you on that one. When we think about I did my best, then a counter to that would be, well, that wasn't good enough in our heads that we would say that. And I know from my own process in like looking at some of my family members, I had terrible during this period of my sister passing and then all this other grief coming up, terrible almost guilt for not being able to save them. And one day when I was sort of meditating on this piece of, I didn't do enough, I should have done this, I had what I would consider a spiritual visitation from a being who's actually alive today. And she said to me, Tami, if you were meant to have saved him, you would have. Now, I know that's stating the obvious, and we can say that ourselves, but the more important thing is, and what I was like, oh, so let me get this straight. When I can step in and serve, I'm the path parts, it's clear, I'm able to do it. And when I can't control an outcome, it wasn't for me to take over. It let me off the hook quite a bit within myself. So yes, the forgiving, the blaming, it's all tied. And so Dee says, I've been a mess since I lost Sammy. Oh, I know you have. Cried all the time with no warning. Yes, I get it. I've been in malls before and just burst out in tears. Now I lost you. Let's see. Cried. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. It was a year on May 30th. All of a sudden, I feel like I'm okay. Thanks for not giving up on me, Sam. That's beautiful, Dee. That's so beautiful. Something cleared for you. Your path cleared. And it can come very suddenly. We don't have to work on getting rid of something. That only makes it stay more, right? It's this piece of moving into, somewhere along the way, acceptance of where we are and where they are. And it's okay. Dee says, I look back and can see so many nudges, but I was just so devastated. Dee, I'm feeling like you need to write a little bit about that. Yeah. So I'm not, hindsight can show you where nudges have been. And that can be as, if we're not careful, we're like, now see, you had a soul nudge back then and you didn't take it. And look where you are now. So we have to be careful not to go down that hole. It's all for information to help you grow. And the animals play such an important role. And Vicki, and I'm glad to see you, says animals don't have to pass to give us soul nudges. That's right. That's right. They get my attention to laugh, love, play, stop, and listen, give calmness, and so much more every single day. 100%. The soul nudges are embedded in the moment. They're embedded in our moments right now as we're sharing and as you're feeling the urge to share something or something's coming up for you because of what we're talking about. Every time Stephania says, I dream with my Bella, it feels so real. Sometimes she turns into a tiger in my dream. Is there a meaning to that? That's fascinating. What does tiger energy speak to you, Stephania? And that does not surprise me with you either. I think that's really metaphorical and interesting. That tiger energy, would you equate that with the mother energy, with protection? I'm curious. You'll have to expand on that a little bit. And also that would be really good to journal. So I want to share something with you because you can take this with you and use it in your own lives, which is so rewarding for the animals and me to share. So I call this Soul Nudges Journaling. And if you've been here before, you usually have to come with a notebook and a pen or pencil. And if you haven't, that's okay. This will be on replay, but I do want to share it and at least get your Let's look into something. Let's look into rather than at. So Renee, if you put up the first slide, I'm going to do two different sections, past experience and then current, to help you kind of dial into things. So questions you ask yourself in your journaling: what animals have made the biggest impact in your life? That'd be pretty easy, I would think, if you just get a good cup of tea and sit down and do this. This is really informative to do, and it's something that'll be ongoing. So is there a specific event that stands out, one that connects you to them in a special way? And I'm hearing the word grace. So Grace, it's present to her mom. She wants you to pay attention. Number 2. Number 3 is why. Why? What stands out? What did they teach you? 4, what qualities were noteworthy about them? Just like my Molly, she was mother energy and bossy and always like shooing us around. I really loved that quality in her. She owned it. What did you admire most? That was one of the things I admired most about her. She knew who she was. What were you like at the beginning of the relationship? And that would be, think about when they came. Who were you then? What were you like? And then 7, what story do you tell about your pet? Let's say you just met me. You want to tell me about your pet. What are you going to tell me? What is your reference point for your pet? 8, how'd you grow by the end or the time you parted? Now, I asked you, who were you at the beginning? I ask you, who are you at the end? At the end of the time that you parted, the ending never occurs, as you're probably realizing at this point in the show. What decisions did you make as a result of this experience? Soul nudge. Pay attention. How did you change? You decide to be different? Did you, like Jennifer, decide to go on an entirely different career path? That is, our futures pull us forward. One of my favorite questions: who would you be without this relationship? If you had never had the experience, who would you be? That's going to reveal some deep soul growth and any nudges that came forward in your time with them. How did the relationship change you? And if any of you, as I'm reading these, are being stirred and you have something drop in, please share. What soul quality within you was called forth? Think about that. These are all wonderful questions to stir the part within you that is longing to communicate with you. And so, Renee, if you'll put the next slide, I'll repeat what I just said somewhat. The real question: who would I be in my life without this relationship? What gifts did it bring me? Again, all soul gifts. And what gifts did I share? How did they get to grow because of us? It goes both ways. And so let me do one for the current experience in your life. It might be easier to go into something where you're thinking about what's going on right now. So Renee, if you would put up the current experience slide. This channeled very quickly one day, by the way. So current experience, whatever you're going through, think about it. What emotions are up? And just like my friend, the universe is throwing me curveballs. I was like, you are in a soul move big time. So how uncomfortable are you? And what's going on? That's always a sign that you're on the edge of growth, that, learning growth, that something's just not settled, that things are, you might be trying to keep them status quo, but they really aren't wanting to be. What is that discomfort pointing toward? I need to change. I feel like I need to do things differently. Maybe I need to, like Bob on the show last time, need to get out with my dog and walk. And it turned out to be a life-changing walk every day. What is that discomfort pointing toward? Change, different direction? Are any of you having any kind of transition pieces? Or the opposite is also true. Any of you have something coming into your life about how excited are you? What's the level that's at? And the discomfort too. How excited would that be a wow? Like what is nudging you forward? What is the excitement leading you to? And Renee, if you'd put up the next bit. So what thoughts are you thinking related to the situation? Are you aware of your thoughts? Are they new thoughts or old thoughts? So in my case, when I was sharing with you about feeling like I couldn't have saved my family members from whatever fate they had, those were very old thoughts. I don't know that I was aware of them at the time as being old, but they were very familiar to me. So it wasn't a new thought that was coming in. And when they're old thoughts, especially, that is a pattern trying to break through. And I had a pattern of, this is all my responsibility and I should have done something different. And that was something I was being nudged to work on and had to do it many times with my animals and may have to again with my animals who pass. Or whatever my roles have been in their lives and they're to me. Are they new thoughts or old thoughts? Are you even aware of them? What parts of yourself are trying to come forward? Who are you birthing? You're always birthing something into life. Is it compassion? Is it, I need to bring more forgiveness and I'm going to, my animals passing is a great way to work on this. And that actually would be honoring their life with me. So proud to have had that. And who would I be without this relationship in my life now? And what gifts of spirit are coming forward? And what am I learning now? So I'm really curious from any of the questions that I've posed here. Have any of them struck for you? Have any of them landed? Have any of them made you think? Have any of you connected with your animal while I was reading and had a nudge that was brand new, something you hadn't thought about? These questions are very, very valuable for connecting with your spirit and connecting with your soul. It gives your soul a voice. The questions are open-ended, and so we so often get involved in the event. This event happened, but we don't back up and say, well, that's curious that this event happened now, or, what was that all about? Surely I'm not just being punished by the universe for this happening, those kind of things. It will help you dive in and understand the past that can bridge to the present and understand the present that is, you're on your way to the future, if that makes sense. So if you have any drop-ins, let me know. I'd love to see them. Love to hear your thoughts. And Renee, if you would, I'd love to share some other photos and questions so we could take a look at the soul nudges. So I love to share so you can read along with me. You can use your intuitive skills. You've all got them. If I can ask a question, it would be, can you ask India what she wants me to do to start this spiritual growth? As I have no idea where to start. What messages shall I look for? Was the nudge her death? Did she plan this so she can help me? And if so, why did she plan to go that way? Does that mean I have a bigger spiritual path to master? I love all these questions, and you are definitely on the path. You're on your blueprint. her passing is allowing you to dive even deeper within yourself. You're asking questions, she says, that you haven't asked before. She says these are new questions that have come to you because of this, and because of her life and passing with you. What she wants you to do is keep asking questions of yourself, and you have no idea where to start. I would suggest starting with some of those questions from the past experience, and then you can also work with them on the current experience. Those are going to open up channels in you and information of soul communication, and she's going to be helping you with that. I love that she's partnering with you in this way, and I would invite you to continue to join her in that space of journaling. So hopefully that helps, and I really appreciate the question because it helps us all. And this is Bree. She lost Bree on January 14th to bone marrow cancer. It broke my heart to have to make that decision, and I feel like I should have kept fighting. I miss her so much. It hurts so much without her, and I keep begging for signs as I want to see her so badly. I get these overwhelming feelings that make me think of her, and no matter what I do, I can't shake the feeling. I'm filled with warmth, but yet I cry because I just want to pet her again. How will I know that she is okay? Oh, I'm hearing when you feel more balanced and more in tune with these pieces of yourself that are maybe along, you need to work on the forgiveness. When you feel more balanced and these pieces drop in, that's going to open you up to signs that you will get. Like you'll be able to feel them, like Stephania mentioned earlier. You feel them in your heart. You may see them with your eyes, but as you see them with your eyes, you're going to feel them in your heart. And when we beg for signs, we actually block the energy. So just remember, even though, it's a slippery slope, right? Because we want signs and we want to connect so badly. And at the same time, the animals are like, spirit is like, haven't gone anywhere, but they can't get through while we're in that kind of like starved space. And so what I would recommend, I'd recommend the journaling, and I would recommend tapping into your heart space. What signs would you like? And, I've always said, ask for signs that are unusual, but definitely any kind of heart wow signs, like that was so cool, that kind of feel. And the overwhelming feelings that make you think of her, journal it. She's working with you. She's working with you to continue. She's saying, continue the journey. And anytime we feel like, I should have kept fighting, the animals are like, thank you so much. Like my body was so ready to go. My body was so ready. I've got more work to do in spirit. And so, animals transition more quickly than we do. So you're not disconnected, and your grief is real and it's understandable. And I'd honor that by doing these questions. It's going to help you tremendously, and she'll be right there. So I hope that helps. And this is from Susan. What a darling. Is he getting ready to cross over yet? He is 17 and seems happy, but I wonder. What I'm feeling is his energy is really quiet, and he feels to me like he's visiting, like going back and forth. And he's saying he's liking the new perspective he's seeing. So I think he's looking toward spirit more. And at the same time, he's content where he is. So I don't get this mad dash out the door at all. And he's saying he's savoring the moments. And so that would be a lesson for all of us, that I'm thanking him so much for sharing this, because if anything, we need to all savor our moments, right? And we don't need to hoard them. We just need to savor them. So hope that helps. He is just a darling. And this is from Pam. This is my Rosa. She was a rescue, the love of my life, and we put her to rest when she was only 14. You know what? I love that you said she was only 14. I've got animals right now, dear, dear animals that are 18, bunches of them actually, 16, 15, 14, the whole gamut. And they are also young. Animals are like, we're not ages people. And so, when we get to tell them, you're only 14. I love that you had that vision for her. And you said, I oftentimes wonder if I was too quick to agree with my partner that it was time. I find myself feeling incredibly sad. Oh, I understand that piece. And it's okay. Feel like I didn't give her enough of a chance. Feel like I should have taken her to the vet to see if there was anything they could do. She wasn't able to walk on her own suddenly. So it was it too sudden a decision? So she's using the walking your path. She said you were walking your path, and not to doubt your decisions. Again, she's reflecting back to other places in your life where you doubt your decisions. So again, the journaling will help you reflect on that, to see what your soul is nudging you to pay attention to release, to work on. She says she popped out really quickly, and I don't know, and I know you've got flowers in this photo, but I don't know if you have a garden, or I'm seeing her like in a garden area with more flowers than are even in the photo. So I don't know what she's referring to, and maybe you would, but your best, your best is good enough, she says. Never to worry about that. You gave her every chance, and she is still very much with you, or you wouldn't have the nudge to ask on the show. So thank you for sharing, and I hope that helps. She's a beauty. So this is Lil B. Love the name, Lil B. Was a rescue and had some trauma. Can you ask her what we can do to make her more comfortable in our loving and safe home? Well, she says she has to agree to it, for one, that she's really appreciative of being able to feel herself. She says she's never been given choices before, so she's just now learning what that feels like. She says she's a little jumpy, so I don't know if you've had some experience with her with that. She says she's very direct, though, and she will let you know what she needs when she needs it. She very opinionated. So what is happening here is tremendous personal growth for her as she works through her own traumas and appreciates more than you'll ever know the loving, safe space. And she says, don't worry too much about my trauma. She said she came to work on it and to get through it, and she's in the best place possible. She's very talkative. She's like, just be you, and you're perfect. You're perfect for her, she says. So I hope that helps. You are doing a beautiful job, and then her part of the body that still holds trauma memories, it's just releasing. So if we don't point to trauma too much and say, oh my gosh, they went through this, what are we doing? We want to, love it away. Allow it to be there and allow it to move through. She says she'll get there, and you'll be very surprised. So thank you for sharing Little B with us. And this is Giselle. Let's see. She had a seizure, and I became very nervous and did not hold her as she had the seizure. I want to tell her how sorry I am for not holding her. Teddy was with us for 15 and a half years. I love them both so much and miss them so much. I want to ask them what kinds of signs they send me, and is it time to adopt a Yorkie? Well, they interrupted me, I might add, during this, when I was reading that, and they're using the word parade. They said they paraded through your life. Very proud of that word, like very showy, that very noticeable, like everybody looked at them, that they were so cute. They've got little spunky little spirits, and they are not, when animals pass, we get stuck on the how and the when and the why and what happened. They don't. I had one come to me pointing to his body. He was like, I'm not attached to that body anymore. This is who I am. So that's why their spirits are coming forth. And, oh, you definitely have another little one coming. Yeah, I'm feeling new energy around you, and I'm feeling, I'm wanting to smile because it's like they're tag teaming, who's going to come your way. So I would trust. And I would trust them, and I'd ask them. They're your little guides, they're little helpers. And they are really, I get a strong sense of excitement around them. So thank you so much for sharing them. And we're out of time. And I've so enjoyed my time with you. It always flies by. I've loved your insights. I've loved your sharing. Thank you so much for sharing all your animals. And I'm always glad when we gather together, and I really look forward to it next time. Let's always keep the conversation going, and I will see you again June 21st.
You've been enjoying Tami's Soul Speak featuring animal intuitive and medium Tami Hendricks.